The good Kenyans on X had tagged me earlier to weigh in on this appointment of Francis Atwoli, where the CS Nakumicha has appointed Francis Atwoli as a board member of the Social Health Board for a term of 3 years. You see, I tried speaking about boomers, and I've been telling you this is what the boomers have an interest. They are mutually connected because of their contempt. Their collective contempt for you young people. Because what does Atwoli have to give now? He should be retiring, should be leaving the position to people who are more capable, but no. And then when you see yourself wanting to defend, feeling compelled to defend boomers, you're suffering from something called daddy issues. I told you some of you had... irresponsible parents, absentee parents, absentee dads. That's why you are there. You are defending boomers when they are still appropriating your opportunities. They are kicking you out of the job market. And so you are always told when you are young that you are the leaders of tomorrow, but this tomorrow is never coming because these guys are not planning on leaving anytime soon. And so when we try to have conversations about boomers and whatever, and we try to say that you have the numbers, we have the majority, we have the clout, we have the capability of getting rid of them, we still have some of us who are paid by the very oppressors that we are trying to eliminate to come and disrupt our momentum, to come and disrupt our attention. I was talking about last week, we had very positive deliberations about the fuel and the fuel price increments. But what happened? Uhuru comes from Dubai, disrupts everything, and we are now no longer talking about fuel. Because he has to come and activate his propagandists who are our age groups. They don't understand the ramifications of Uhuru's presidency and how it will affect their children and their children's children. But your greed and you're addicted to that kind of whatever. You always want to think that you're benefiting, that you're gaining a head start over your colleagues because of your childlike ambitions. You remember all those competitive children you had in school. You are competing on every small thing. So you think now this is a game. This is real life. This is not a simulation. This is real life. So there's this guy called Wesley Jeff on TikTok. Just listen. When I speak about boomers, just listen to his intro to his video when I was talking about Mr. Beast. Just listen to him.
You see, I've always held the thought that just because Francis Gaitho sometimes comes and shouts on your screens for 10 minutes does not mean he's always being intelligible or addressing substantive issues while doing so. This is a classic case because most of the time all he does is shout for 10 minutes and accuse boomers of many things, including our generational problems, and then...
So, this is your favorite person. You follow him for such. We are talking about real issues. You can see it unfolding in real time. These old guys have no plan on leaving these positions. This guy was, first of all, in the other camp. Somehow he's able. I don't know how boomers connect with each other. Even if you are supporting this other guy, there is a way they are able to talk with each other. They have back channels. And now he gets appointed to a parastatal. First of all, we don't even know what this social health board is. National Hospital Insurance Fund is a dead outfit. We are paying money to fund them, and then they steal it. And then we don't even get those. The cards are not even honored in 70% of the health facilities in the country. And so why do we need a new parastatal to replace one that they have already and deliberately killed? So here we have this guy. I can't say one of us because I told you, boomers have also nurtured. They have also bred their can I say the new generation of people who are mentally depraved like themselves. So when we are trying to have the conversation, when we are trying to emancipate ourselves from this chokehold that the boomers have on us, they've been promising you that you're the leaders of tomorrow. They are not honoring that promise because they are not trustworthy individuals in the first place. Think about the people who don't pay you when you work. Think about the people who owe you money right now. You'll see it's the boomers. The entitled thugs. They are entitled thugs because I told you these guys, they found a functional economy. They found everything working. So they never worked. They never went out of their way to generate wealth. All they did was appropriate what the colonialists had left. And so they have this entitlement. The ones who are here, the ones who pretend that they are the elders, those are the most misguided people. And so just because I criticized Mr. Beast, then all the agents of boomers now came out and then started blasting me for having an opinion, for having a contrary opinion, something which I've always done in my social media life ever since I knew what the internet was. But on this one, because the boomers finally found an opportunity to unleash, because there was a time I'd cleared these boomers, and I'm still not done with them. But which is weird, because in Kenya, because of 844, those of you, majority of you who went through 844, you are so allergic to intellect. You're so allergic to opinions that are contrary from the mainstream. It's not your problem. This is Moi, when he was saying he's going to rule for 100 years, he knew what he was doing. He was conquering your minds. You're incapable of processing any alternative or divergent views. You are in the matrix. You're in the matrix for a reason. You're where you are for a reason. Because we are supposed to be having a vibrant ecosystem where opinions are shared. We may disagree, but I have my right to my opinion. So how comes I've been looking at the news coverage of Mr. Beast and my comments? I've watched Washington Examiner, everyone, they had the opportunity, they had even the courtesy to run my opinion. They didn't run Wesley Jeffs and everyone. They didn't run your opinions, you guys who are pro Mr. Beast. You think they care about you guys, but they took time to run mine. Like the most, like there's a newspaper in Zurich. It's like the top newspaper in Zurich, is called watson.ch. So he noted a problem and a glaring inconsistency with Mr. Beast, just like I'd done. He's asking, where is the problem? There are several. The news magazine Spiegel fact-checked what was shown in the said video and researched it on site, and Mr. Beast's global fan base probably won't like this conclusion. They already know that you guys are swayed by cheap antics, theatrics, optics. Those are the things that excite you. That's why your economy is in the doldrums, because you've been distracted not to talk about our common enemies, where we only have two tribes in Kenya, the haves and the have-nots. We've been dragged like your useless parents and grandparents who have been fighting tribal wars, ethnic mobilization, I don't know what. Those are the things which have clouded the last 50, 60 years of their conversations. And so you miss there. So he already knows, the editor of this article. He says, number one, the title is misleading. Mr. Beast can be seen pretty much in every sequence of the video, pressing buttons, carrying canisters, pumping water, but the YouTuber didn't build the fountains himself. Local aid organizations such as Hope Water Africa or United Mission for Relief took over this task for him. Number two, money instead of time. Mr. Beast, or rather its charitable organization, only acts as a donor. In the end, the celebrity and his team flew to Africa for a few days to shoot a few very juicy scenes. Number three, blatant exaggerations. Mr. Beast claims that the 100 wells could supply 500,000 people. According to Spiegel, the actual number is likely to be significantly lower, and there is definitely not access to water everywhere in Africa, because the continent consists of 54 countries and almost 3 times the size of Europe. You see, and then finally, the work is not finished. Contrary to what the video suggests, only some wells are actually ready for operation. In some cases, towers for the water tanks were still missing, or pipes needed to be laid. Now, that is real journalism which doesn't exist. Now he goes and cites, he posts a few photos there, you can see. Then they talk about these white people saving black people. There is a separate term for this widespread phenomenon that has existed for many decades. It is called white saviorism. Mr. Beast's video has pretty much all ingredients of a classic white saviorism, says Spiegel. Poor children, dirty rivers, sad music. Images of white helpers with African orphans serve stereotypes and do not contribute to solving fundamental social problems that exist in Kenya and other African countries. Above all, rampant corruption among the local elite and exploitation by foreign third parties should be mentioned. The Kenyan politician Francis Gaitho sharply criticized Mr. Beast's charity campaign and in turn achieved a viral hit with over 1.2 million views. And then they posted my tweet over there. And then these are my words: America is part of the problem, and you, Mr. Beast, should not come here to confirm some of these long-standing stereotypes that Africa is poor. And then the editor continues. In fact, countries like Kenya are not actually poor, but rich in minerals and other natural resources. Although the population has none of them, rather all the investments and aid money would flow into the pockets of corrupt politicians and officials. In addition, powerful nations like the USA cemented the existing problematic relationship of dependency with their economic policies. The critical Kenyan politicians' advice to Mr. Beast is therefore clear. He should better address his own president in his videos, because America is not part of the solution. Joe Biden and previously Donald Trump joined forces with the corrupt Kenyan government for economic and security considerations. You understand? When it comes to inequality in the Kenyan society, the West bears much of the blame. It is important to combat tax evasion of African potentates and dismantle international trade barriers which hinder economic development in Africa. And now he goes. The Watson editor, in his conclusion, the Watson editor does not know what Mr. Beast paid in total for the aid campaign in Africa and what he ultimately earns from his viral videos. His annual income is said to be over $50 million and his assets are now over $500 million. In 2020, YouTube Kshs announced, "I promise that I will die with zero in my bank account. I refuse to live a materialistic life." And he has all that all that money as regards to wealth. So the problem is you are projecting your frustrations. You are projecting your anger at me. You know what needs to be done. You know that you need to step up to the plate. You know you need to stop thinking like the useless boomers who have mentored you, like your parents and grandparents. You know it's your time because you have gone to school and you're jobless. But you're now deflecting your attention on the person who has taken the initiative, on the person who is taking the bulls by the horns, because you are a coward, because you are unable to speak out your mind, because you want to conform for likes and clout, because you want to simp. You think that when you hold up an opinion, you're going to get access, you're going to get laid because you have a dry spell. You understand? That is your problem. Those are your issues. That is your psychological trauma. You need to address it first. You need to seek for a therapist. You understand? So there is somebody here who talked about that affliction. Just listen.
You don't need more information. You need implementation. Your frustration, depression comes from knowing what to do but not doing it. Every time you bail out of doing the thing you need to do, you chip away at your confidence and self-esteem because you can't trust yourself. This has nothing to do with the fact you aren't trying hard enough or want it bad enough. It's down to experiential avoidance, avoiding thoughts, feelings, memories, physical sensation and other experiences, even when doing so causes harm in the long term. Avoidance, doing the boring work, the painful workout, the uncomfortable conversation, the scary decision is keeping you from the treasure.
So you are avoiding to step up to the plate. You are avoiding to have the sensible and meaningful conversations about the governance trajectory of this country. And then you are projecting your anger, you're projecting your inability, your procrastination, you're projecting it at those who take the initiative, those who are pointing out the glaring inconsistencies and contradictions within our setup. That is how you found yourself voting for Ruto. Because of what? Because you are there, you're on the fence, and then you're tailored to project all your anger on not the people who bear the most responsibility for your afflictions, for your poverty, for your joblessness, for your brokenness. for your dry spell, not those people. You're projecting on innocent bystanders. Now, just because I had an opinion, you pulled up, you rocked up, you shamed me, bullied me, did everything that you could. But you can see I'm still standing, I'm still going, and we are not stopping until the fat lady sings. Like, for instance, today I was analyzing how Uhuru, the debt that he accumulated, and we need to put it in perspective of something relatable, because I understand 844 removed your analytical capabilities, so you are more of passive news consumers. That's why they know that to distract you, they need to just pay some journalist, some celebrity over there to bring you low vibrational energy. When somebody twerks on internet, you're there, you're happy. You made such an uproar that Joki Morina's account, which was banned, it was reinstated by TikTok. It was reinstated, and mine, which was banned, you have never even gotten the uproar. So everyone knows that is what triggers you. That is what excites you. You like seeing diab. When it comes to difficult conversations, then you're going bonkers. You're going ballistic. You don't want to look like you're against the establishment, because you think political correctness is going to get you some favors. Now let's talk about Uhuru and the amount of money he stole. Because this is money he stole. They are trying to sanitize him. He came from Dubai the other day. He goes for Harambe, and then peasants there are celebrating him. Why do you celebrate your oppressor? You're so stupid, man. You have to you have to style up, you people. How does Uhuru pull up where you are and you're celebrating him? How stupid are you? Do you know how much this money has stolen? Do you know Kenya could be a developed country if Uhuru didn't steal this amount of money? So, whereas, let's talk about debt. The debt that Kibaki left when he was living in office in December 2012. So whereas Kenya's debt as at December 2012 stood at 1.67 trillion, 1.67 trillion, and Kenya's debt after Uhuru's presidency in 2022 stood at 9.42 trillion. So our debt has ballooned, has leapfrogged from 1.6 trillion to 9.4 trillion. Now that's the amount of debt. So Uhuru's tenure, the debt accrued was 8 trillion, because we have to minus what Kibaki had left. So 8 trillion of the amount of money that Uhuru accrued in the form of debt. Don't forget that this is theft that was rebranded as debt by the corrupt mainstream journalists, the corrupt Githeri media journalists. You saw him hosting editors at his house. That's where most of the money went. It went into bribing the establishment, bribing everyone. Yeah. That's why the entire, whatever content you were consuming had been sponsored by Uhuru, because this is a lot of money we are talking about. So 9.8 trillion is the amount of money that Uhuru borrowed in 10 years. Now, KRA was still collecting money, because all our funding from for the exchequer does not solely come from debt. It comes also from KRA is collecting money. You see how they are overtaxing us. You see every day they are thinking of ways of making your lives unbearable, miserable. And you guys are there sharing KRA press releases. That's not your work. Your work is not. They have their own platforms. They have their own propaganda machinery. Why do you see it fit to share a KRA press release? Are you an idiot? Why are you sharing? Why are you spreading fear on their behalf? Let them do whatever they are doing. Let them come for you. But why are you sharing their press releases? You see, this is the mentality. Because you're of your hard mentality. When you see somebody prominent has shared something by KRA, them they've been paid. You are there retweeting like an idiot. Yeah. So KRA collects 1.5 trillion, or has been collecting around 1.5 trillion per year from Kenyans. So in 10 years, that is 15 trillion. So 15 trillion plus 8 trillion in debt, that means there was 23 trillion in Kenya's coffers, in Kenya's exchequer. Money that should have been in the country. 23 trillion Kenya shillings, yeah? And so now we were talking about where this money went. Counties receive 400 billion every year. 400 billion multiplied by 10, that means 4 trillion. 4 trillion Kenya shillings has been devolved to the county. 4 trillion, can you imagine? Does any county have a road? Did they embark on fixing roads? No. Did they embark on fixing street lights? No. Did they do anything? Did they make the drainages? No. We are talking about Mombasa. Mombasa, the media are misconstruing and they are misrepresenting what is happening currently. There is a difference between floods and flooding. Kenya is experiencing floods. Mombasa is experiencing flooding because they refuse to fix their drainage. You understand? Because these Mombasa idiots, what they did, what the things they took to utmost importance was electing somebody because he was twerking with Ali Kiba on Instagram. Those are the things that they do, because you think elections is a joke. You think this is a beauty contest. You think this is clout chasing. This is serious, man. This is real life, man. You can't be taking elections like a joke like that just because you've been listening to boomers, you've been listening to Githeri media, you've been listening to corrupt clergy, corrupt religious leaders who've not been preaching the word of the Lord. These are devil, the people who are defending the government, those are devil agents of the devil. They are not religious leaders. And you've been listening to them. Why? You've been taking your money to them. Now all this money for you elect governors, you don't even know. You just go there ticking up, down, like the idiots of Embu. They did UDA up, top to bottom. Everything they did UDA. They did Kenya Kwisha. That's why their senator, their senator, if you look at him, he has nothing in the space between his ears. And that's somebody, Senate is a position which is supposed to be the oversight. It's supposed to be keeping checks and balances on the government and in the county governments. That's why they are not doing anything, because they are on the payroll, these senators. And when somebody goes there, the CS Ababu Namwamba goes there, Kipchumba Murkomen, he's asked childlike questions, nursery school questions. Because they've already been bribed prior to his appearance in that Senate hearing. You see, you're doing a disservice to yourselves. Yeah? And when we tell you this is what the roadmap we are going to do, you are still trying to argue with us. So anyway, we were trying to do a comparative analysis. We were trying to just do something relatable. Because of 844 cleared your analytical skills. So let's look for something relatable. So, for instance, if we did 500 kilometers of roads in every county, 500 kilometers of roads in every county, which means we are going to have interstate roads connecting to the counties, so that if you want to drive from Nairobi to Kisumu, you'd be getting there in 2 or 3, 4 hours, as opposed to what is happening now. You're stuck in traffic for hours as the elites who have stolen your money are flying above you with helicopters purchased with your taxpayers' money. So, for instance, if all the counties, 47 counties received, we were doing 500 kilometers of road in every county. So 47 by 500 kilometers, it comes to 23,500 kilometers of roads for the entire country. That's county to county. Now, if we are using the inflated tenderprenuer rate of 70 million per kilometer. Don't forget, roads in Kenya are more expensive because of the provision for corruption, so that people can steal money. So, but we have still used the figure that they are giving us nonetheless, which is 70 million. So if we multiplied 23,500 times 70 million, we would come to 1.64 trillion. That's the amount of money that would fix all the roads issues in the country. They would have created jobs. They would have done everything. 1.64 trillion is not even 10% of what was in the treasury during that entire duration. It's not, because we are talking about 23 trillion. 23 trillion, by the way, is equivalent to $150 billion. So imagine, I had idiots coming on my page and telling us, I hadn't even asked them where that money went, but they saw it fit to come and tell us, we're paying salaries. There is no donor who would lend money to pay salaries or recurrent expenditure. So stop your nonsense telling us that the government paid government salaries. What value are you to be paid all that money? So 23 trillion, this 1.64 trillion, which would have fixed the road issues in the entire country, it's not even 10% of the amount of money that was accessible. So if you listen to Jimmy Wanjigi's presentation, when he was doing a forensic analysis of the central bank returns, he was saying, and he said that Uhuru now has stolen $100 billion. He has approached the net worth of Bill Gates. He's not an inventor. He's not an innovator. He's just a thug. He's just a thug, like the mother, like the brother, like the Muzungus who they have employed in their companies. But he's now having the net worth. And this money is in banks in America, in Britain, in Australia, in Switzerland, in Qatar. That's where the money is. And here we are fighting. We are being overcharged for electricity, for everything. There are no roads, there are no street lights, there are no social amenities. Everything has been grabbed, and the media were bribed. Everyone was in on this. The Twitter influencers, the what? So when you're projecting your anger, don't project it on me or anyone else who is taking the initiative to make sense of this entire charade that is happening. You need to sit down first of all and introspect and ask myself, why am I angry at somebody else who is not the cause of my trauma? Once you address your pattern of trauma, and I told you it starts from your childhood, all the violence that was meted on you by your absentee dads or your teachers, because 844, remember, it was deliberately made to be a violent curriculum so that you can always be in a suspended state of fear. You can always be subservient to the authorities when they are stealing, when they tell you you're going to have a lockdown, when now they are telling you they are blocking Telegram because of exam cheating. You are complying because the fear was embedded in your DNA by the educational curriculum, by the people you follow. That's why you are you're always addicted to low vibrational energy. That's why you're going to watch that famous YouTuber who is just selling sob stories, because to appeal to you, you have been beaten into submission. That's why you're going to your clergy. They are telling you there that you have to die to experience heaven. People in Middle East are building their heaven on earth. They have told you, they have sold that lie to you, that leaders are chosen by God. Do you think these are leaders? These are not leaders. These are demonic people. The people who are stealing this amount of money. Somebody has stolen $100 billion. And then you're celebrating him just because he's landed in your church. You're sharing his crap. And you think that now Ruto, that we are criticizing Ruto, that now we should give this guy a free pass. No, all of them are trash. All of them are corrupt. All of them are agents of the white establishment to continue emasculating us as black people, as Africans. And if you don't put that in perspective, then what was the reason of you getting access to all this information? We're in the age of the Aquarius, the age of the Enlightenment. If you cannot put those two and two together, then you're a spectacular waste of our time. You are a waste of, why were you even procreated? Who gave birth to you if you cannot be able to relate all of these things that are happening around you? No, now you need now to, first of all, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, deal with your trauma, deal with whatever issues that you have gone with, as a person, and then now look at things. You will have a new perspective of how you analyze things. So boomers are taking your jobs, your politicians are stealing your future, and you're there celebrating them. How stupid are you?